Hello friends, peace be upon you. Hope your day is bright and you are having a good time. Friends, there are two ways to get the depth of field blur. I mean, in Photoshop it can be applied in two ways. Depth of field blur in Photoshop is a filter that creates a shallow depth of field effect, making some parts of an image appear out of focus. This effect can be used to highlight the subject and add interest to the scene. What is depth of field? Depth of field is the area of the image that appears sharp, both in front of and behind the subject. So let's start the video and see what these two methods are. I have opened an image here. I press Ctrl+J to create a duplicate layer of it, so that our original image remains safe. Now we will convert this layer to Smart Filters. After converting, go to Filter again and then the Neural Filters. After the Neural Filter opens, you will see the depth blur below. When you enable it, its process will be on the device. You can see the message of the processing on the device. After applying, you can see that this image was before and this is after. If you look here, the focus subject is checked. Unchanged decking this will also blur your subject. Here if I increase the amount of focal distance, so you can see that your image is completely blurred. But if I check the focus subject here and then, this process will be on device. From this, you can see that our subject is in focus, but the background has been blurred. There's something interesting about this blur filter. The area near the subject is not blurred, but the distant area has become blurred. Just as we see distant things blurred, while things that are close to us appear a little clearer. Select the Smart Filter or New Layer option in the output. Let's say I'm selecting the Smart Filter here. You can apply more haze to the blur in the background. With the help of this haze slider, it will look like fog. It is your choice whether you want to apply or not. You can increase or decrease the blur strength in the same way. This technique mimics the way a camera lens captures a scene, where the subject in focus is sharp, and the background is blurred. After that I click OK. You can see that a thumbnail of the Smart Filters has been created. We can reopen the Neural Filters by double-clicking on it. But if we double-click on this icon on the right, this will open the blending options for Neural Filters. From here you can change its blend mode. Set the blend mode to multiply or overlay, it's up to you. But I don't need to change the blend mode in this image. Reducing the opacity will reduce blur, and at 100% it will be just as blurry as we did. Here's one way to apply depth of field blur. I'm disabling this layer to find another way, and I press Ctrl+J to create another duplicate layer, and I also convert this layer to Smart Filters. After converting to Smart Filters, go to Filter, Blur Gallery, Field Blur. Neural Filters also had Field Blur, and here the filters also have Field Blur. That is, this field blur is available in the blur gallery of filters. If you click on it, an anchor point will already be there. You have to move it to the subject. And on the right side you will see that its blur amount is there. By default it is blurring at 15 pixels. We don't want to blur this area, so we'll set it to 0 pixels here. This will completely eliminate the blurring. And now we don't want to blur this area either. So we also set the amount of this second anchor to 0 pixels. So, after placing anchor points on the areas we don't want to blur, we will set the amount to 0 pixels. But we want to blur the background. So, keep placing anchor points in the areas you want to blur. This is a nearby area, we won't blur it. Now, we can increase the amount to blur our anchor points more. This anchor point had an amount of 15, so we increase it to 20 here. So, increasing the amount of different anchor points will make that area more blurry. Let's say we set the sum of all these anchor points to 20 pixels. The bicycle handle will look blurry. If you don't want to blur it, add an anchor point. And set the amount of this anchor point to 0 pixels. This will eliminate blurring from this area. Similarly, if this area is blurry here, then add an anchor point. And to eliminate its blurriness, set the blur amount to 0 pixels. Here, I will explain it to you and tell you the difference. So, you can see that this is our original image, and this is after. If you double-click on the smart filters we used in the blur gallery to open them, and if you want to blur some more areas, keep adding these anchor points. For example, this anchor point is blurring the bicycle tire. We move this anchor point a little away from the tire. Or, even if it's a little blurry, it doesn't matter. We can blur the background more by adding more anchor points. And after that we'll click on OK. This is the original before image, and this is the after image. And this top layer we blurred with a neural filter. Neural filters will blur after detecting it will. While in the layer below, we can blur as we wish. That is, go to the blur gallery, and select the field blur we use. This allows us to blur the image at own will. That is, neural filters will blur at will. While we can blur at will with the field blur in the blur gallery. That means, you can blur more or blur less. And it's completely up to you. I hope you like this video about depth of field blur. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.